Hello everybody, what's going on? And welcome back to the My Player Career Mode. As you know, if you've seen yesterday's episode, we've got the second leg of the Europa League coming up for you here against Arsenal as our first game of the day. If you missed the previous video, I'll quickly catch you up to speed. I hope you're all doing fantastic as well. So here's what happened. We took on Sheffield United. We beat them by 2-0 before facing Arsenal in the first leg. A 1-1 draw at the Emirates. We gave away a penalty. That was scored, and then we got the goal late on to find an away goal before we took on Manchester City in the quarterfinals of the FA Cup. We drew 1-1 in normal time. It went to penalties, and once again, we crumbled in penalties. Now, I didn't take one, so obviously, I couldn't have a say. I was off the field to play at this point with one mind on the Arsenal game. We knew we had to be substituted. We weren't going to make it through normal time plus extra time. We had to make sure we were fit for this second leg. So yeah, we're out of that. So now we've only really got the Europa League to play for and the Premier League. The Premier League was second behind City, and this game here against Arsenal, if we lose that, well, Europa League's done as well. So this is the biggest game of the day today. We've then got West Ham United at home in the Premier League. We're not selected for these international friendlies with England before we take on Newcastle. But April is a month where it's must win. You can see it there. Manchester rivals. That will probably be the game, I said it last time, that decides whether or not we're still in the title. We got Chelsea after that as well. Spurs coming up. Wolves and Leicester not easy games before Liverpool and Burnley to finish the season. So let's not look too far ahead though, because we have got this game against Arsenal to still get through. And without further ado, we're going to head ourselves off into the first game of the day. Play it a little bit longer than usual as well, just to give us that bit more suspense. And as it stands, a 0-0 draw would be enough for us. But of course, we don't want to rely on a 0-0 draw, because then you're just running into problems if you do concede. That's the side. Strong team. Both Pereiras playing on the right wing. We've got Rabiot and Chan back in at centre midfield. A more usual looking starting 11 in terms of positions. No sort of experiments from Ole Gunnar Solskjaer by playing centre midfielders at right back and right backs in centre back. That's looking better. Will we get the performance though? That's the question. Quick look at the Arsenal side then. As we can see on our screen, we are familiar with their starting 11 anyways by now. Llorente starting just in behind. Their striker is a slightly surprising one. The roller on the right, I would have put probably Willock just in behind Martinez and then had Llorente playing a little bit differently. But it's us who get the game underway. We are 90 minutes, potentially more away from securing our spot in the next round, and we really have to get there. But playing passes like that, Brandon Williams, that doesn't start our game off well, does it? Llorente in control, finds the roller. Are we in for an early chance here for Arsenal? They did start the game off pretty well at the Emirates, didn't they? So, wouldn't surprise me here, as Martinez trying to find an opening. Gives it away, and we're back in possession. Rabiot's touch will find us. We've got 2 additional minutes here of a first half where Arsenal have had so much possession, and we've not really been able to do too much in the game. I've tried to find a near post cross, which Munir hadn't attacked the near post, and I didn't realise that. But as we go into half-time, there's no urgency from Arsenal to try and find that chance just yet they need, because as it stands, we will go through on the away goal ruling. But from our perspective, like, we've not even got on the ball, really. Yeah, we're not controlling it very well at all. We're not keeping possession well at all, and Arsenal are happy at the moment playing the way they are. But they need to up their urgency a little bit, because we're getting away with it slightly in this first half. There's improvements for us to make, but there's also improvements for them to make. Hakimi for Arsenal on the left-hand side. Goes back towards Joe Willock, who has time here to take the ball under control. I'm trying to get there to be able to put a challenge in, but I'm not quite quick enough just yet. And then he picks out a lovely ball through towards Maitland-Niles. Near post! It's Joseph Martinez! And Arsenal striking the game! And that will change this entire dynamic, because as it stands, Manchester United are out of the Europa League. And I tell you what, that is the least that we deserve, that they've deserved here. We have been poor. Arsenal have not really looked to go forward too much in their attack. They're quite happy, as I said at half-time, keeping hold of the ball and making sure we haven't got it. The one time they do get in behind, they take their chance. The man who converted the penalty in the first game scores at the near post. Skriniar had no idea where he was. Well, what is this United team made of then? Because as it stands, we're out. I titled the last video, is this effectively the end of our season? Well, as it stands, yes. Yes, it is. Because City are 4 points clear in the Premier League. And we are 26 minutes away from being knocked out of the Europa League. I mean, look at the reaction of Munir as he went off there. Head in hands, he didn't know what to do. I don't even think we've created a chance yet. And it's not because Arsenal have been good defensively. We have offered nothing going forward. The pie comes on for Munir. Let's see if that changes things. I mean, I was trying to run past the roller there, ref, and he just held on to me. As I've used so much energy in defending tonight that I've not really got too much to give in the attacking sense. Dan James here finds us with the ball. Needs to try and get on this a bit more and use it effectively. Emre Can's pass through, and it's an instant reply. There we go. 1-1. Same story as the first game. Martinez scored first. We equalised. We've done it again. And literally, straight away, reply. So where's this been for the majority of the game? We've shown we can do it. So where has this been? Emre Can, 1-2, gets us through. Matthew Ryan, no chance, 1-1. If we go to penalties again and lose, then we just don't deserve to do anything. Like, that'll be the third one. But that's a great pick out by Memphis Depay. As I see Pereira back post. Andres Pereira should have scored. Oh, he should have scored. What a chance. Rabiot looking for Andres Pereira on the right-hand side. Will he keep it in? He will do. Last few seconds of normal time here as Lascelles is underneath that with a chest towards Willock. He plays it back to Hakimi, and there is the end of 90 minutes. We go to extra time. And my friends, we are 30 minutes away from another penalty shootout. Would you believe it? Would you believe it? Changes coming through for both teams now then as the second half of extra time is underway. And what is going on here with El Neni? Just allowed us to walk straight through. And one of the changes for Arsenal was Medley, who's just come on. And he was thrown straight into the action there to clear that one away. Martial, good control. Now finds us. Memphis Depay's in. He's in and he scores for United. 10 minutes left of extra time. Memphis Depay. I believe that's his first United goal since his return to the club. And what a time to get it. I was genuinely worried that we were heading to another penalty shootout. And that was going to be us out of the competition again. But Memphis Depay, he slots home. Matthew Ryan can't make the save. Arsenal here now, if they score, they go through on the away goal ruling, I think. Unless it doesn't count in extra time. I'm not entirely sure. But, oh, what a time to score. Now, can we hold our nerve and book our spot in the next round? We've not been good enough to play in it. That has to be said. But as long as we get there, I honestly do not care. A minute to play. Ricardo Pereira will send this into the corner, where I'm quite happy to have it and just chew down the clock here as we will win a corner kick off of Medley. And that, my friends, should be us secure with our spot in the next round. Whatever additional time there is added on here, I don't think there's enough time for Arsenal to find another goal in the game as Pereira goes over. It's 2 minutes that will be added on from the referee. I'm going to try and ask for this to go short so we can, again, still keep hold of this. Pereira, don't send it in, mate. You've just wasted the opportunity to keep hold. As Matthew Ryan then. Arsenal need to throw the dice at us. They've got to just chuck everything they can. 50 seconds remain. They lose the header, and that is it, my friends. We are through to the Europa League last 8. But boy, it was not easy here. Into a couple of post-com games we go then. And I actually didn't realise that today's video was episode number 50. So I'll be trying to get you out a bit of a bumper episode, make it around about half an hour long. And with us heading through as well against Arsenal in the Europa League, you will get to see the quarterfinals in today's video. That will come as the live games later on. But before that, highlights from West Ham and from Newcastle. Although I call them highlights, there really wasn't a lot going on in this first game. And especially with City winning again, we needed to try and get a victory on the board for us. And we were putting the pressure on. West Ham are having a bit of a bad season. They're down, I think, in 16th place. So I was expecting us to win this game. But as it came to 9 minutes from time, Rabiot went closest with this effort here. But ultimately, we didn't really threaten too much in the game. And we probably, looking at it, deserved only a draw. But it is rather frustrating to see that, especially with City winning. So before this game, it was 4 points. And that now means that we are 6 points behind our Manchester rivals. There you go. 8 games to play. That's how the table is looking. But I mentioned the Europa League quarter-final. Our opponents for that is going to be Marseille. And if you look at the other teams in and around the competition, I'd like to think that we're the strongest team still in it, but time will tell. Over to our final post-con match of this video then. Newcastle away at St James's Park. They're having a better season than West Ham, so if we can only manage a draw against West Ham, Newcastle would be a different sort of test for us. They were, I think, 9th heading into this one, and play with that 5 at the back style, which either works or really doesn't against us. And it took us 19 minutes to find the opening chance after some good skill on the right wing allowed us to open up the opportunity to drive into their box. Our shot found its way past Dubravka. He got a touch to it, but not enough to be able to push it out. Could only push it further into the corner, and we had the lead here in the game. But up until that point, we'd really not done much. So I'm struggling to kind of start games off, I think, and that is something that United have been doing all season long, just not quite starting off in games as well as we should be doing. But as soon as we get that first goal, usually we then start to dominate the game a bit more, at least the first half anyway, and we should have been 2-0 up there after I got into the penalty area, but dragged the shot massively wide. And then we continue the action with Munir heading an effort off the top of the crossbar to make it 2-0. So were we going to pay for these missed chances? Well, I thought so, as Unal, with the goal gaping, couldn't connect with his header. It sort of skimmed past him and went out of play. And you saw by Steve Bruce's reaction, he was not happy. And with 8 minutes to go, we found our second goal of the game and secured our team the 3 points. I really like this camera angle as well to show you the finish. You can see as it curls past Dubravka into that bottom corner and pretty much sunk any chance of a Newcastle fight back. But De Gea was still needed in order to secure his clean sheet with a save there. And that was full time. So that does us for the post-com section. I hope you enjoy the rest of today's video. Marseille currently occupying 4th in the French league, and we are at home first in the 2 legs of the Europa League against them. So just don't let them score and then focus on the second leg. Of course, if we can win this first game, then that would be a massive help. The other teams, I probably showed you the draw anyway of the Europa League, and I probably said this. I don't really think we should have too many issues in the Europa League if we can get past Marseille. The other teams left in this, I still think we are probably the best team in the competition. So, yeah, it's all about getting the job done, though. And as we know, you can be the best team in the competition. If you don't perform, then it doesn't matter who the best team is, because we haven't really shown our best football, especially in the last game against Arsenal. Even though we won that, we definitely didn't show as much as we probably should be doing. As you can see the team on your screen there, McTominay starts on the right-hand side with Pereira in centre midfield. I believe that's Ricardo Pereira. So, yeah. Is that actually the case? Have we got Ricardo Pereira playing centre mid and Andres Pereira playing right back? I think that's actually it. Because I'm pretty sure Ricardo Pereira is the higher rated of the 2. That is ridiculous. Let me back out and go back into this and see if it makes a difference to the team selection. Because if not, what is Ole Gunnar Solskjaer doing? Or, as we know, EA doing? Because the game is the reason why this happens. It is bonkers, to say the very least. Well, didn't change a thing. Let's get into game anyway. Scott McTominay with an early touch at right wing. I can confirm it is Ricardo Pereira playing centre midfield, McTominay at the right wing spot, and also Andres Pereira playing right back. It popped up with our team before the game and showed the positions, and it was those 3 are in those positions as mentioned. And for Marseille tonight, Florian Thauvin is the man you're looking at to be their danger man on that right-hand side as we're trying to get past the defender there. They've also got Yusuf Poulsen up front, a tall, physical striker, decent footballer as well, and João Mario trying to be the creative spark in midfield. So it's not going to be an easy game for us, but we should still come away with the victory, in my opinion, from this one, as Munir's ball over the top will not be found. Justin, though, poor clearance away straight to Dan James. Now to Munir. Munir finds the ball through, trying to open up the space. We've just about held on to it, but in the end, we can't find the pass off to McTominay. Here is Yusuf Poulsen, ball through, looking for João Mario, and it's a big save by David De Gea. I think it was Kerrer who went over to try and tackle João Mario and then fell over, did he? Or was he fouled? I'm not quite sure, but it was pulled back, and Yusuf Poulsen has the effort, and David De Gea saves it. That is a big moment in this match. 25 minutes in. There's an argument maybe it was a foul. I'm not quite sure. Samasaku now gets through, and his shot will be blocked behind by Skriniar. But we're under the pressure a little bit here, and we need to withstand this, because a goal for Marseille will give them loads of confidence for them to try and dominate this game. Samasaku after the header out by Ricardo Pereira. Koch inside the penalty area. Pereira there again to defend. I suppose playing him at central midfield, we will have that advantage tonight, the ability to defend one-on-one. But yeah, it's still a strange team selection. Can we get a chance ourselves? Because we've not really done anything in this opening half an hour. Here is Dan James back towards Ricardo Pereira. Pereira will hit that ball for us to chase left-hand side. Little bit of trickery to open up the space as well. James on the centre. Dan James with a finish. 55 minutes in. Manchester United 1, Marseille 0. And I was just going to say, it popped up before half-time saying slow day at the office. I hadn't had that many touches of the ball, especially in and around the final third of Marseille. But when we do get into that position, Ricardo Pereira with the ball through. Look at this for a bit of trickery. Selling the defender before finding the easy pass to Dan James. And he's fired home. And we needed that goal as well. We needed that just to get some momentum coming our way, because Marseille were enjoying their football inside Old Trafford, and we don't want that to happen. Oh, brilliant from Williams. Can I take the touch though? Toro with a challenge. It's going to be a penalty kick. A little bit harsh on Marseille, but what an opportunity it is then for us to take a 2-goal advantage. And I should be taking this, and you know where this ball's going. Bottom left, or at least that's what I'm going to attempt to do. Toro sliding in. Actually, he doesn't win any of the balls, so I take that back. He does not win any of the balls. So, here we go then. Up against Karius. Chance to send us 2-0 in front. And there is the finish. I'm a little bit surprised, though, because you saw where I aimed it. It didn't quite go in the corner as I'd hoped. But I don't care, because the ball's in the net, and we now have a second goal to work with. As long as we keep them to 0, no away goal tonight, we should book our spot in the semi-finals. That's what we should be doing. But there is still another, 120 minutes of football to go, so let's not get ahead of ourselves just yet. Karius doesn't even move. We have been through a couple of times now, and that is seemingly where we're getting most of our luck. As Munir will play a 1-2 to get us in. And we were across the face of goal. Arriving at the back post is Martial. And he hits the woodwork. It was a very tight angle. It would have been very tough to finish that. I'm surprised he nearly did, in fairness. But that would have seriously killed this game off and sent us through. 3-0. I just don't see a way back at that point. 2-0. There is still a possibility, especially if they can grab a goal now. But they haven't really looked like doing that in the second half. Full time in the game then. Live from Old Trafford. It finishes Manchester United 2, Marseille 0. It is a big job for Marseille to get back into the tie, especially if we go over to France and manage a goal. So an early goal will pretty much kill any chances or anything like that of Marseille getting back into it, but we still have a job to do at their place. Before our trip to France, though, we have to play Wolves in the Premier League. 7 games to play, 6 points adrift of Manchester City. A defeat here would pretty much do it, I think, especially if City win. That would be 9 points, 8 games left. City is our very next Premier League game as well after this one. Of course, before that, it is the second leg of the Europa League. I don't think I'll be able to play all 90 minutes because I'm not quite fully fit here, and we have to keep one mind on the other leg. So we'll probably play about 60 minutes of this one. But yeah, must win. Let's see how the game goes. Ricardo Pereira, good piece of skill shown here as he now sees the run of Dan James. James pulls it across to an unmarked Oz. And it's 1-0 Manchester United. Took us 9 minutes to find the breakthrough here at Molineux. And as it stood as well, heading into this game, there's an interesting stat popped up. Wolves with the worst away record, home record, I should say. Getting my words muddled up here. Heading into this game, they'd lost all apart from one, which they'd then drawn. We had the best away record in the league. So, well, yeah. So, there was really only one way this game should have gone. And already, 9 minutes in, that's a goal to just calm any nerves that we may have had and essentially put Wolves into even more pressure. You saw it before. They're in the bottom 3 at the moment, and I don't know how that happened, but they could well be down in the Championship next season. Gibbs-White, lovely turn by Neto. Now Bacuna! It is an equalising goal for Wolverhampton Wanderers, and it was taken exceptionally well by Bacuna. What a turn by Pedro Neto, though. The ball fizzed into him from Morgan Gibbs-White, and he just span, got it under control immediately, and laid it off to Leandro Bacuna, who arrived in the edge of the penalty area and smashed it home. Even though they're in the bottom 3, they still have the capability to create chances and be dangerous, and we've seen it there. What a finish by Bacuna. I'm quite taken aback, really. I did not expect them to fire back with an equaliser like that. That was quality. Here's Neto. Lovely pick out. McTominay back there, though. And vitally for Manchester United, as Wolves now are playing with their tails up. They're looking like a different side to the team that just started the game off and conceded so early on. Doherty, right-hand side, near post, Raul Jimenez, headed, saved by De Gea. What is going on? All of a sudden, Wolves are actually the team on top. James, Munir, ball through, we'll chase it. Will we actually get the chance though? We've taken a touch ahead of Mandy, running out of steam. Keeper comes out. We've chipped him into the far corner against the run of play. We take the lead again. It's our second of the game. I don't quite know what is happening here at Molineux because it shifted. Wolves were on top and then against the run of play, we've got the second. It's absolutely crazy. I mean, the finish is quality. You have to give us credit for that. Keeper came out. We kept our composure to just chip it past Bailey, Peacock, Farrell, and into that far corner. It's our 21st of the Premier League, I believe that is now. So we're getting into the upper echelons of the league table in terms of player stats. Here is Memphis Depay towards Pereira. Pereira, lovely ball through, and it's the hat-trick for us as well. With a minute to play in the game, we have got ourselves the hat-trick. Is that our first in Manchester United colours? Anyway, we're not going to be interested in that. I know I said I was going to ask for a change because we did have that game against Marseille, but the way that this game was going, I thought we might be needed. So I didn't ask for the substitution. Oh, we just done it as well. Hat-trick hero. So yeah, I didn't ask for the sub because I had a feeling that the game wasn't quite done at 2-1. And I didn't want to risk our potential title hopes effectively being ended if Wolves could get back into the game. I know obviously we will be now not quite fully fit for the game against Marseille, but with us being 2-0 in front in that one, I don't think we'll have to play all 90 minutes to secure that. Full time from Molineux. It's Wolves 1, Manchester United 3. For a period of time, they looked like they had still a story to tell in the game. But in the end, we've got our first hat-trick and we get 3 points on the board. I didn't see anything with City, so I'm not sure if they played or not. We'll check out the table after. And here we go then for the second leg against Marseille away at their place. The 2-0 aggregate scoreline is one we can fall back on. Mentioned it, early goal would see us through most likely. With City coming up, I definitely won't play all 90 minutes of this game. You can already see it, fitness not fully there, but City comes, I think, 4 days or 3 days after this game. And the importance of that game cannot be ignored. So yeah, we're not going to play all 90 minutes, so let's just get the job done in the first 45, and then I can go back to the bench, rest up, and then get ready to play City, which you might see today, depending on how long this episode has already been. If not, you'll have to see it as the first game of the next video. We'll see. Barkley's ball towards Rad. He's in, and he's got away from his man, and Poulsen will score. Early goal, that was meant for us. Not them. Not them. They weren't supposed to score early. Yusuf Poulsen has pulled a goal back for Marseille. And the thing is, I have to get a substitution. I can't afford to play 90 minutes here. Can the boys get the job done if I'm not on the pitch? That's the question. Or do we just have to kind of cut our losses and say, all right, well, we focus on the Europa League, forget about that game against City being fully fit. I'll obviously still be able to play the game against City. It just means I won't be able to play all of it. Oh, man, Poulsen scores. It's not the start we were hoping for. 26 minutes in. An away goal. Come on, we can get this goal. And then that's pretty much going to sink them a little bit because we have got an away goal to play with and they, of course, didn't. But then, again, if they get another goal pretty soon, we could be in real trouble here. Dan James, left-hand side, needs to use this ball effectively. He's giving it towards us. Not a lot to aim at in the box, though, which is half the problem here. As I'm now going to lose it looks like. But we will get a throw-in. There's just not a lot up there for us to really work with. James touches the ball, keeps hold of it, now sends a cross in. It's a decent delivery, but it's dealt with well by Marseille. Munir, good control. Now will find us. Shots on! Oh, and it's wide. How close is this to going 1-0? Caught it sweet enough. I just didn't find the actual accuracy behind it. Not quite as close as I first thought. But it's our real only opportunity so far inside this first half, and we're 9 minutes away from seeing it out, and I'm playing at 5.3. Not one of my finest performances. Samasaku towards Mario. On this right-hand side is Justin. Chance for Marseille again. James Justin sends the cross in. Barkley will get it after it's deflected. Back to Samasaku, and now to Rad. The space is too much, and De Gea again saves Manchester United. Got 32 minutes to go, ladies and gentlemen. And I really want to ask for a substitution. But my worry is that if I do go off and Marseille score, we're going to extra time. Now, with half an hour to play, I'm playing at a 5 match rating. I know I've not had my best performance here, but truth be told, we haven't played well as a team. Like, nobody is really performing that well. So it's not just me having a bad game. We're not able to really create anything either. A goal for us before I go off would be massive, as Dan James there just didn't realise where the ball had gone. Do I just risk it? Do I just risk asking for the change so I am fit for that Man City game? But the way the game's going, they're going to score. I can just sense it. It's going to take something pretty specialist for us to hold out here. Like De Gea, just saving chance after chance after chance, because we're not defending well either. Samasaku towards Barkley. And you can see my stamina bar. I cannot do anything else here. 4.9. Is this the worst performance I've ever had? João Mario. Centre of the pitch. Trying to block his shot, which De Gea will catch. I'm going to risk it. I'm just going to have to ask for that sub, man. Wrong button. Because, yeah, it's 22 minutes to go. I just haven't got anything left to give in terms of stamina. Munir will win that flick down. I mean, I'm on the ball, but again, where are we playing this next pass? Where are we going with it? Out to the right. Martial's here. And he's going to lose it to Rochia. So, yeah, disappointing United display thus far. Keep him penned in here, and we might be okay. Here is Munir, dispossessed, but we've got away with this. Munir in the centre. There is an ear post. Karius will save it. We've got 2 minutes to go. The ball hasn't even gone out of play, so I'm actually still on the field, man. Like, I may as well have just played the entire game. I'm not trying to work too hard, though, in this last few minutes. I'm just trying to conserve some energy, really. A minute and a half to go. I asked for the sub. We're not even going to come off because the ball has stayed in play that long. James Justin, do not score. Ref, minutes on the clock. Thank you. Well, we got there. We're into the semi-final. But the performance here tonight leaves a lot to be desired. Marseille, they got the goal back through Yusuf Poulsen, but then should have really put the pressure on. They tried to. De Gea came up with a couple of decent saves. Ultimately, though, I don't know what I just watched from this United side. It was a shadow of the team we're used to seeing. So that might be it for today's episode anyway, guys. This bumper edition. We'll check out the league table and whatnot before we go have a look at who we've got in the semi-finals. I'll see how many minutes that brings the episode to, and then see if we will end it off here. So I'll see you in just a second. That, my friends, will bring today's episode to a close. As you see, the Premier League table still 6 points behind City, 6 games to play, and we will kickstart the very next episode with that game. So don't you worry, you will see that, and fingers crossed that we will come out with a victory and claw that gap back down to 3 points. I mean, we still then need them to drop more points, and goal difference certainly isn't on our side. But we'll give it everything we've got until we can no longer be mathematically in with a shout. For the Europa League, I've not yet seen the draw, so let's have a quick look at that. Who is it going to be? And the button is clicked. It will be Roma. Real Sociedad take on Benfica. So if we beat Roma, I have to say, I am very confident against one of Sociedad or Benfica. And again, you know, we played in the Champions League final last season. We lost that, but Europa League, surely we will win it. Like, as long as we beat Roma, that's it pretty much. We then just got to do the job in the final. Roma are currently 5th in the Serie A. No problem, eh? I mean, I'm saying that now. Watch us get outclassed. What about the other 2 teams still left in there? In La Liga, Sociedad are 7th. So that tells you the story there. Benfica, Liga NOS, they should be topping it, right? Yeah. So, yeah, we should win that. Like, we fully should win that. But time will tell, I guess. I want to say a massive thank you for watching this episode, episode 50. Hopefully you enjoyed the bumper episode today. We've got 93 rated now as well, so we've gone up by 1 overall. 30 goals, 19 assists this season in 48 games for this United team. Shows you just how crucial we are to them, really. It has to be said, like, when we don't perform, we just don't look like doing much. So, if I'm not in the team and actually sort of pulling the strings, there is occasions when we grab goals, but ultimately, if I don't do it, then sometimes we're a bit flat. But that's going to bring us to a close then. As I said, thank you for watching. If you aren't around here, like what you see, hit that subscribe button down below, and I will see you for the very next episode. If not tomorrow, definitely on the Sunday. So stay tuned. Until then, have a great evening, have a great day, wherever it is that you guys are, and I'll see you all again soon. Adios!